Hi, I'm Richard Waystack. I'm the chairman of the Harwich Board of Assessors, and I'm here today with our assessing director, Donna Molino. Donna, it's late in the year again, and as we are every year with the courtesy of our friends here at Channel 18, we're getting ready to send out our third quarter billing for taxes, which indicate new values for all real property in Harwich.
Yes, that's correct. It's the new values as well as new tax rate, which is $8.67. It went down 13 cents this year. And we have the new bills that will be going out at the end of December.
And as they go out, Donna, we ask all of the taxpayers to review their tax bills and to actually look at their field cards, which are available on the Town of Harwich Assessing Department website. Donna, tell us, why is that important?
Because they may have differences, maybe some changes made to your property record card, and to make sure that our assessment is right. And you may want to file for an abatement if you find something is incorrect. And that time frame is from January 1st to February 1st, and you can get them online as well on the website or in the town hall. So if you have any questions with that, you can certainly get an application, and we will have 3 months, the board has 3 months to review the applications and take action.
Donna, as you say that the tax abatement form is on the screen, and in a year like this where we're seeing values rise in real estate, we see a lot of questions as to why taxes are rising in town. And some may not know that when the Board of Assessors and the assessing department assesses value for a property in town, we actually have no power to raise taxes at all. In fact, when values are raised, the tax rate actually goes down. Can you explain that to people?
Yeah, so it's either the valuation of the properties within town go up, that brings the tax rate down because we're bringing in more money to support the town. And then it works in the reverse. When the values go down, the tax rates go up.
And really what happens, Donna, is that we have no power ourselves to raise the taxes. Everything that we do is dictated by the Department of Revenue. And for instance, the values are rising this year in the town of Harwich by almost 7%.
Correct.
And when that happens, when the values go up, the tax rate goes down. And as Donna mentioned earlier, last year's tax rate was $8.80 per thousand. This year, it has been approved by the Department of Revenue to be reduced down to $8.67 per thousand. And Donna, what people sometimes get confused by is the fact that the Department of Revenue states that every town has the right to raise taxes or the tax levy by 2.5% every year. So people will say, well, the tax rate went down, but my taxes are still going up. It's not us who makes those changes. It's really town meeting, isn't it?
Yes. So when you go to town meeting and you vote for certain items, they need that money, which goes into the tax rate as well. So anything that you vote for, that's a lot of money, will bring up the tax rate.
So we think a lot of times of, well, how does that happen at town meeting? When there's a capital exclusion, for instance, or if there's a tax override that is voted on in an election after town meeting, those are the factors that can raise your taxes actually higher. So we've talked about people having the right to file an abatement, and one of the justifications that we get a lot of times when people fill out a tax abatement is that my taxes are just too high. And that's really not a justification for us. We need to see, is there something wrong in your field card? Maybe your field card says you have a fireplace and you don't have a fireplace. So we have to do this work in a very specific period of time. You mentioned earlier, we can only accept an abatement form from January 1st to February 1st. The Department of Revenue requires that we act on any tax abatement within 3 months or 90 days of them being filed with us here in town. And we're very, very concerned about timeliness. There are no extensions at all because we have to do our work within 3 months. And the state allows us actually not to take action on an abatement, and then it's deemed denied. And we never want to do that.
No.
We have a policy, in fact, that says we will act on every abatement that comes before us every year. Now, we've also heard many times that people, they get their taxes, they get their tax bill, and people are having a difficult time in paying their taxes. We have a tremendous number of programs here in town that actually over 450 people took advantage of last year to help lessen the burden on some of our taxpayers. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We have several exemptions. We have senior exemptions for over 65. It's based on income and assets. And if you qualify, that's $1,500 off your tax bill, as well as a work-off program where you could work for the town for to work off your taxes for $1,500. Or we have an angel provision where somebody, if you can't work, can work for you. And we also have the veterans exemption, which is, we have quite a few of those. I think we have like 140 so far this year. And we have blind exemptions and deferrals.
Donna, we're very blessed here in the town of Harwich. We have had the opportunity through town meeting to increase the availability of a credit to our taxpayers. The state allows towns to offer a $500 tax credit. Many years ago, they extended that to double it to $1,000. And the town of Harwich, through town meeting and the generosity of the taxpayers, extended that to a point of $1,500 that a qualifying senior can get as a direct credit to their taxes. This year, the Department of Revenue gave us an advisory that says a senior who qualifies can get the senior tax credit and the work-off program that you just mentioned, allowing our seniors to take up to $3,000 as a direct credit against their taxes. And that is just a wonderful program, and frankly, it's been approved by the generosity of the taxpayers at town meeting. You mentioned one of the most important programs that we have in town, which is the tax deferral program. And Donna, as great as program as that is, we don't seem to have many people taking advantage of that.
No, we don't.
How many are actually taking advantage of the tax deferral program right now?
Right now, there's only 4.
4 people taking advantage, and I want to get into that a little bit more because it's such a great program that's available to people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a qualifying senior, you have the right to set aside your taxes or defer your taxes. A lien is placed against your property, and it's at an 8% simple tax rate, which means that interest is not compounded year after year after year. And you can defer some or all of your taxes if you wish. In many cases, that difference of that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year in taxes that you're paying, if you defer those, that can have a major impact on your life. Donna, can you please help me figure out why are people afraid to use that deferral program?
Well, there's a lot of pride, and people are the frame of mind where they want to save their homes and for their children so that they can inherit their homes. They want to leave them something. But I don't think that that's the proper way to go. You need to live, you know, be able to get your groceries, whatever you need, medications. So I think this is a good program for that. And you don't have to leave it to your children.
Yep. Many people know that I'm in the real estate business here in this town, and we've had taxpayers come into our board, Donna, and they say to us, well, I want to leave my house to my kids debt-free. And unfortunately today, we find many people who are as they're passing on, the next generation is not keeping the house like they did years and years ago. You know,
Right.
we hear of people who kept a house in their family for 3 generations, 4 generations. It's just not feasible for many people today. So to our senior taxpayers who are watching out there, I'd implore you to come in and discuss the potential of a deferral for your particular property. If you're having a difficult time meeting your taxes, it really is a great, great program. And I would ask our seniors to take a good look at it to see if it can benefit them. Donna, with so much information out there today, social media is everywhere. We had a lot of questions that came up in the last couple months about field operations in town, where people are coming out to look at neighborhoods, to look at individual houses, to assess them. Tell us why the department sends people out to look at properties. Is that a requirement? Is it just something that the town does?
No, that's a requirement by the Department of Revenue, the DOR. We have to visit 3,000 properties a year for every 10 years. So we have to meet a quota for the Department of Revenue so that they can certify our tax rates and make sure that we're up to date on what the people have in their house, because sometimes people do changes within their house without a permit. So this allows us to assess everybody equally and fairly.
And that is the main goal of the assessing department, is to assess everyone fairly in the community. One of the questions that has come up quite frequently is, if a field agent is out looking at someone's property, does a taxpayer have to let them into their home?
No, they do not. They do not. But I've been very grateful that a lot of people within town oblige and do let them in.
Now, Donna, if someone has seen the application form to file an abatement, if someone files an abatement and your office requests to go into the home, does the taxpayer have to allow them in at that time?
Yes, they most certainly do. Because if we need to see and make sure that our information is correct, and then if it goes to appellate tax board, if you don't agree with the decision that the board makes, we need to say to the judge, if it gets to that stage, that we've been in and we've seen the house and this is what they had.
So if people are not doing a file an abatement, they don't have to let someone in their house. And I've told that to many, many people. So just people are coming out, they're looking at the house to see anything's been updated, to see the land if they've made changes, added a shed, added a garage, because that all comes into play when we value someone's particular property. Donna, we've talked about a lot of programs that we have available in the department, and I don't think people understand the amount of work that the assessing department does here in town. For every real estate transaction that occurs, the department is required to update the database very, very quickly. In addition to that, you have to track every building permit in town so that, again, any changes that are made to the property are considered for assessing value. Your staff of 3 people does quite a bit. What else do you do in town that people don't see in the background?
Okay, so as you said, we do the sales transfers, we do a butters list for people who have to go before conservation, zoning board of appeals and such. And we input this with as much accuracy, we're very accurate as we can be, the data into the program. We do motor vehicle abatements, boat abatements. We do quite a bit of things, and can't think of them all at the time, but I can't.
You do many, many things, and it's constant. Our Board of Assessors works very diligently with the assessing department, and the board, including Bruce Nightingale and Jay Kavanaugh, we meet at 5:30 p.m. on Mondays at the assessing department. And people may not realize, Donna, but our meetings are public, and on every one of our agendas, which are posted on the town's website, we have an opportunity for the public to comment at our meetings, and we do welcome anyone who wishes to attend to please join us at the assessing department. However, one of the requirements that we have as a board is to go into executive session. And the reason for that is if we are dealing with anything for a taxpayer, whether it be an exemption, whether it be an abatement, or any particular issue dealing with an individual taxpayer, that allows us to go into executive session. Every taxpayer has that right of confidentiality. So we appreciate people joining us at our meetings, and if you have any questions, especially this time of year, which is one of your busiest times
Yes.
of year, to please stop by. And I can't thank you and your staff enough for what you do for the town, as well as our friends here at Channel 18 for allowing us to come every year, right around Christmas, to be the Grinches that we are, telling people that we're sending the next tax bill out.
Yes.
But we do thank you and the staff here for all they do. Until next time, I'm Richard Waystack for the Harwich Board of Assessors, along with Donna Molino, our Assessing Director.
Thank you, Richard, for all your support in the boards. I appreciate that.